All right, shalom, shalom, Shabbat, shalom. First and foremost, let's give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the sincere Akim and Akwathim. Listen, may the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another quick lesson. And today's lesson, I just want to quickly go through this observation I made and that I noticed is they heal. So this is the title that I have. It says they heal with carnal measures, and and the I'm referring to our people, the nation of Israel, right? So you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and you speckled Israelites. One of the things I've noticed is that our people essentially try to heal through carnal measures, whether it's trying to stack, lots of money, trying to get a prominent position, or even through different vices, for example, food, smoking, alcohol, so on and so forth, those particular things, right? Trying to become famous or something like that, and they try to heal. They try to, try and essentially try and get rest for their souls, but they don't have any rest. They don't have any ease. They don't have any essentially constitution. They don't have Yahweh Bashemel Shai, essentially, right? That engrafted word that it talks about in James. They don't have that, right? Because it says in Romans 11, it says, what then Israel hath not obtained, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded, to roughly paraphrase, right? So, our people are really into this mind state and this mind loop, essentially, you can call it, where they are constantly trying to essentially fill a gaping hole, and they're using, carnal measures to kind of fit that hole, right? And what they really need is to come back to the Lord, essentially. That's really what they need, right? And this is one of the things that, our apostles, our elders, and the brothers on the highways and byways constantly push, because they don't have any rest, for their souls, essentially, right? So, as a matter of fact, let me go to, I didn't have this on the screen, but let me get this quickly. Okay, this is Jeremiah 50, verse 6. And it says, I'll read it in NLT. It says, my people have been lost sheep. The shepherds have led them astray and turned them loose in the mountains, right? And they're shepherds, you can liken all these different pastors, false teachers, false prophets, so on and so forth, that led them astray. You have your essentially your Malcolm X's and your Martin Luther King's, so-called prominent leaders that have risen up and try to essentially galvanize our people to actually, get out of the state that they're in, right, and try and come into some understanding, right? But they essentially, what they've done is do more detriment rather than more benefit, so to speak. It says they have lost their way and can't remember how to get back to the sheepfold, right? So, and this is one of the things that a lot of us brothers, especially in the camp, we say hidden in plain sight, because the sign is right there. When you see the brothers on the highways and byways, that is a sign for you to essentially come back to the Lord, and you have righteous men, like the scriptures talk about. And also it says this in Jeremiah, that I will give you pastures according to mine heart. I will feed you with wisdom and understanding. And this is what you Israelites need, right? A pasture is a place where sheep graze, where sheep go and they receive nourishment from the grass, right? Not just sheep, but sheep, cattle, ox, cows, so on and so forth. They go and they receive nourishment, wisdom, understanding, right? And this is, and well, let me say this: when the sheep go there, they receive nourishment, right? And really, you can liken that nourishment onto this word as well, because the scriptures talk about having your soul delight itself in fatness, right? And receiving this nourishment, you're not going to essentially thirst. It's going to satiate you, but going through these carnal measures, this is what our people go towards to try and receive nourishment. But when they do that, essentially what happens is they don't they're not satiated. Their soul is not delighted in itself in fatness. Their soul is essentially on a diet, right? On a very, very soda cracker diet, right? You need that bread. So let me continue. Let me just continue here. Just bear with me. Okay. Isaiah 1 verse 4, excuse me. Isaiah 1 verse 4, it says, "A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, that have forsaken the Lord." Excuse me. It says, "They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint." Right? And this is the condition that our people don't prioritize as well, because they prioritize a lot of carnal measures to try and kind of essentially mask the pain, and they don't prioritize actually healing, right? Because healing and essentially true baptism comes through this word, right? It's not essentially going to the so-called Catholic churches and dipping yourself in water, so to speak, right? And I want to get that, so just bear with me. It says, I'm going to read this last verse here. It says, verse 6, "From the sole of the foot even unto the head there is no soundness in it," right? And that's what our people don't have. They don't have a soundness. They're unstable, right? There's no conduct, there is no virtue, there is no morals, there is no scruples, there's no integrity, there is no fear, right? And that's the cornerstone of having a relationship with the Lord, is fearing the Heavenly Father, right? Keeping His commandments. But they don't want to do these particular things, right? So it says, "But wounds and bruises and putrefying sores they have not been closed, neither mollified with ointment," right? So they'd have no bandages to actually kind of bandage them up, right? No food to actually satiate their soul, right? And they cling on to these carnal measures for quote unquote understand, for a rundown version of understanding, so to speak, right? And that can also be likened unto being part of the Catholic Church and all these different religions and so on and so forth. I was talking with a cousin, not to go too off topic, but I was talking with a cousin earlier this week, and I was just looking at his disposition, and not his disposition, but looking at his countenance, and he was so like run down, and this is what really and truly inspired this lesson. Was because our people don't have any soundness in the mind, and they don't cleanse, they don't learn, they're so presumptuous that they don't understand the importance of cleansing the mind first, right? But they try and to look essentially carnally rich it kind of just masks the pain of your wounds from slavery and from, not having your both your parents in your life, and these sorts of things, man. Like, our people are so messed up. Um, okay, let me get that next point I made in regards to cleansing through this word. Okay, Ephesians 5, verse 26, and it says that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. In the NLT it says, to make her holy and clean, washed by the cleansing of the Most High Yahweh's word, right? So that's how we get cleansed, it's through this word. So to say that how shall a young man cleanse his way, is essentially by taking heed to this word, right? That's what's more important. That's what is keeps you stable, keeps you clean, keeps you holy in your conduct and so on and so forth. That is what makes us upright as Israelites, keeping the commandments. That makes us shine, makes us, glow. That keeps us separate, right? Because we're supposed to be a nation of people who are separate, where the other nations come to us for wisdom and understanding. So, let me get this. Let's bear with me on this. Okay, this is Mark chapter 5, verse 25, and it says, I'm reading it in the NLT. So it says this: a woman in the crowd had suffered 12 years of constant bleeding. She suffered a great deal from many doctors, and over the years she spent everything she had to pay them. But she had gotten no better. In fact, she had gotten worse. Verse 27, it says, she had heard about Yahushua, so she came behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. It says, for she thought to herself, if I can just touch his robe, I will be healed, right? So she just wanted to be, she just wanted to essentially be close to him, just touch his garment, Verse 29, it says, immediately the bleeding stopped, and she can feel in her body she had been healed from her terrible condition. Verse 30, Yahushua realized, and once the healing power had gone out from him, so he turned around in the crowd and asked, who touched my robe? Yahushua speaking. Verse 31, his disciples said to him, look at the crowd pressing around you. How can you ask who touched me? But he kept on looking around to see who had done it. Then the frightened woman, trembling at the realization of what had happened to her, came and fell on her knees in front of him and told him what she had done. Verse 34, she said to her, Yahushua speaking, daughter, your faith had made you well. Go in peace and suffer. Your suffering is over, right? And one of the reasons I wanted to bring out this particular account, because this woman, essentially, all she wanted to do was to touch Yahushua's garment, right? And, she had enough faith to believe that, okay, all I have to do is touch his garment and I'm going to be healed, right? And when you think about it in the spirit, this is what, us brothers, and a few sisters who may listen, the believers, all we're doing is simply, honestly, we're just touching Yahushua's garment. When you really think about it as well. Because by touching it, we are also healed, right? In Isaiah, it says that, to roughly paraphrase, through his stripes we are healed, right? So, through this word, because Yahushua comes in the volume of the book, we are healed because of that. And this is why we gave so much praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? Because, what we need essentially in this time is grace, and this is what Yahushua has given us, right? So, but when it comes to our people, they might pass by us on the highways and byways. They might hear about Yahushua and his sacrifice and so on and so forth. And like it says in Hebrews, because they heard the word but it wasn't mixed with faith, it essentially didn't profit them. It didn't profit them anything, right? So that's one of the reasons I also wanted to bring this out too, because this is what we're constantly doing. When you turn on to a lesson, you attend a camp and you listen to a sermon and so on and so forth. That's us essentially touching Yahweh's garment and becoming more cleansed, right? Becoming more holy, becoming more separate, becoming more upright, becoming more virtuous. That glow essentially is returning back to us. That how do you call that? What's that word I'm looking for? That that glow essentially. There's another word I was thinking of, that nobility. That's another word I wanted to say, is returning back to us as a people, right? And that's through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? So I guess I'll just leave it there. I didn't want to make the lesson too long, but I just wanted to bring in a couple of things in regards to this, right? It was just briefly inspired by a family member, but I pray and hope that these lessons are edifying, and I'd like to give our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, teaching us his truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.